Hello, I'm Sam. I started my DIY journey with low cost but high impact upgrades to our backyard. And now that that's done, I plan on doing the same to the inside of my home. I recently transformed our dining room from this to this. And to try to keep the momentum going, I'm moving into my kitchen. Now, this is supposed to be a pretty quick project. So if you enjoy all things DIY, follow along to see if I can make that quick project actually happen. I was going to start a new project. And before I do that, I figured since I was doing laundry, my washer and dryer is in the basement. I'm now in the basement. I should clean up the mess. These boxes are for an upcoming project that I have outside. I'm really excited about it. These shelves were from inside of my dining room. I'm going to keep these. I just don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. So far, this is what I have done. This refrigerator doesn't work, so I have to schedule a pickup for that. In the future, I'd like for this whole thing to be cleared up and maybe have some type of cabinetry over here for my linens and seasonal clothes. Now we have to get this figured out. I'm going to put this in a time lapse. You can't see any order unless everything's actually just picked up and put away. And I guess there's not really much else to it but to just start. Most of it, believe it or not, belongs here. It just needs to be put up. All right. Okay, now that that's done, what I plan on doing here is pretty simple. I want to do things like changing the hardware to something that's like an antique brass, and of course, making sure that they're all aligned. I do have a tool for that, so that should be pretty simple. I want to paint. I'm not sure if I want to change it to the color to the dining room or keep it the same color that it is now. Before I do any of that, I do need to fix this pull-out trash drawer. Over the years, it's gotten pretty warped and has come off track. I did lose some hardware, so I'll need to reattach some pieces. I'm first going to give everything a quick clean and then I'll get started on fixing the drawer. These supports are just temporary. I do plan on ordering an entire new drawer, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if the color is discontinued or not. I guess I'll deal with that problem when I get around to making that order. This is not my first attempt at trying to fix this drawer. The first time I did try to fix this, I didn't have this handy right angle attachment. And I'm sure if I did have it the first time, I probably would have gotten it right and it wouldn't have come off track. I spent a lot of time leveling and making sure everything was straight as it can be. The drawer seemed pretty level and it was opening and closing smoothly, but it wasn't until I started to face the cabinet that I realized it was still off. Now the actual drawer was level, it was the door that wasn't. So instead of taking the drawer apart, which I almost did, I took the door off instead and tried to get it as level as I could. Okay. It's fixed. It's not perfect, but it is better. Replacing this trim is another thing I had on my to-do list. If you notice, there was a little notch in the trim that was made to fit our refrigerator end panel. And then later on down the line, our refrigerator that we had at the time started leaking and caused a lot of water damage on that piece. I also was not about to spend another $200-300 on that single piece alone, so I just cut it off. Also on my to-do list is to go around the room and patch up these holes and imperfections because since I'm giving it a new coat, I do want a nice and smooth and even finish. I was preparing to paint the entire kitchen the same color of the dining room, but after doing a few samples against the trim and near the cabinet, I didn't like how it looked. It was a little bit too green, and I thought by adding white, it was going to magically make it the color I needed it to be, and it didn't. It was still a pretty color, it just wasn't the right color for the kitchen. So I tried the lightened alpaca blanket in this spot over here. This area right here, you can't really tell, but I did in between the cabinets and the trim. And this spot right here. It doesn't look bad, but I don't like it at all. I'm going to stick with the blue. I'm not sure if it's because I'm just accustomed to the color at this point, but it is pulling a little bit too green. I was originally going to bring the color into this room, but I'm keeping the blue. As you can see, I'm shaking 3 different paint cans, and that's because at one point I thought we were moving, so everything in the house needed a fresh coat of paint. I thought to make everything look nice and clean and cohesive, I would pick a nice shade of blue and put it in every one of the bedrooms. But what ended up happening was the blues were looking different in every room, so I tried to change up the colors, which left me with more than 3 different shades of blue. It also doesn't help that I decided I was going to paint my kitchen blue as well. Blue's not even my favorite color, but here we are. I also didn't label any of the paint cans, so now I am testing all the colors on the wall only to find out that none of them are the color of the kitchen. So I'm mixing the lightest color with the darkest color, hoping that I'll find something that's close to the color that's on the wall now. Right.
It's not bad.
This is what the colors look like after I sampled them. These two, I believe, were the same colors. This was the lightest. I decided I was going to mix these 2 colors together since this one was too light, this was too dark, and I got this color. I'm happier with this choice. Don't mind this part. When I was testing the samples, this color looked so light in the can. So I did another swatch on the wall to make sure it wasn't already the color of the wall. We let it dry. Obviously, once it dried, we found out that it was not the right color. I will be painting the rest of the kitchen this color here. In the meantime, I'm going around and I'm going to give the trim and this door a fresh coat of paint. It doesn't look too bad, but it is pretty bad. Could use a touch up. I still have a few more things I'd like to change and add, but for now, thanks for watching me paint a white door white and blue walls blue. I'll see you in the next video.